And what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. This is the 90th, yes, 90th episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. Being joined once again
Ex-
by Hitmaster.
Hello. Did not expect we could get to 90, but for all those people that have dealt with my weirdness and Tyler messing up his voice sometimes,
True.
thank you. It's a fuck.
How did you do that? That was so on point. That was so on point.
Wait.
That's so good. That is so good.
I did not know.
That is awesome. Anyway, it's actually funny that we get to do our 90th episode on such a special occasion because it is the Michigan recap episode. Oh yeah. We're gonna go through the entire pre-race experience, everything we got to see at the track, go through our day, show off what we purchased, and then we'll talk about the race itself. It was a crazy weekend down at MIS for many reasons, and I got some big tangents I want to go on. I'm sure Hitmaster does too. So we got a lot of the things to talk about. We avoided previewing the truck playoffs last week. We have to do that this week because their first race of the playoffs is this weekend. Plus, we've got some other stuff to do. We can go over the full Austin Dillon penalty. He is attempting to appeal it. However, we're recording it before that result is broadcast. This was come out, I think, a couple days or something like that. So I highly doubt it will get appealed, but we'll go over what the penalty is and everything here. And then at the end, of course, we will preview this weekend's action at both Daytona for Xfinity and Cup and Milwaukee for the trucks. So, but let's jump right into it. First, we got to do Michigan. So right off the bat, rain plagued the whole weekend, including the Xfinity race. The Xfinity race got delayed for about a half an hour. Then it got going, and then there were two more rain delays during the race. So there was a lot of issues there. But as far as the race itself, Tanner Gray, Sheldon Creed both spun out early in the race. Austin Hill also spun in the second stage while running pretty good. Riley Herbst and Brandon Jones made contact, got into a pretty big wreck there, especially for Riley Herbst. His hood flew up and everything. Another big wreck took place in the third stage as well, so there was a chaos was getting going at the end there. Then we got a pretty long green flag run till about, I think it was about 11 laps to go or so, when Kyle Weatherman blew a tire and hit the wall to set up what ended up being overtime because of another rain delay, which was really weird. Like, I saw that they had red flagged the race with 2 laps to go, which I did not I thought at that point, just run out the caution laps and just don't do overtime, just end the race. I feel like that's what NASCAR should have done, or like that would be more in line with what they have done. But nope, they got the race out, and then I got the race restarted to go in overtime. In which, 2 things. Number one, Justin Allgaier wins. Good win there for him. But what everybody's talking about is what happened on the backstretch. I feel kind of guilty because the whole week going into the weekend, I was manifesting what it would be like to see a flip at Michigan. We'll see a car blow over on the front stretch. Just, what we see like Ryan Preece style flip, but at Michigan, right? Well, we didn't see that kind of flip, but we did see a blowover from Kyle Sieg on the backstretch. And, wow. Okay. Did not see that coming at all. A lot of people are talking about how the flip happened, like his roof flaps didn't deploy, and he kind of just slid on his lid and then flipped over more in the grass. And a lot of people are thinking that's a huge problem. so far, it doesn't seem like NASCAR is going to take a huge look at it because a lot of people are citing it as just the air got under the car super fast and the roof flaps didn't have time to deploy, which I don't know how believable that is, but not really going. It doesn't seem like they're really going to challenge that notion anytime soon. But it was a wild flip. He's okay, thankfully. So that was that. It was the first ever flip. It was the first flip at Michigan in over 24 years. And that is insane. That is insane. The last flip at Michigan had been Elliott Sadler's flip before I was even born in 2000. And now, I wasn't there, but I saw it on TV after the race, actually. I saw it in highlights. But otherwise, good win for Justin Allgaier. The other thing a lot of people are complaining about is the fact that NASCAR used restrictor plates for the Xfinity cars at Michigan. Supposedly because the Xfinity cars can go faster than the Cup cars at Michigan because they have a higher horsepower package. And to prevent that, they put restrictor plates on it. So, because of that, it was a little hard to pass, and drivers were running just kind of single file train line around the track for a good amount of the early portion of the race. I only got to watch the first stage, so I don't know how much happened after the first stage. But it did seem like that's what they were trying to do. It kind of felt like the 2013 Daytona 500 all over again, really. But I think the action seemed to pick up near the end of the race, so I don't think it's that huge of a concern. But NASCAR, why are we putting restrictor plates on Michigan just so they look better than the Cup cars? Like, that's stupid. Either upgrade the horsepower package for the Cup cars, downgrade the horsepower package for the Xfinity cars, or just don't give a shit and let them drive. It doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that was the Xfinity race. What a crazy one it was. But we were far from done because it was Cup race time. Oh, and did go to the Xfinity race. We did plan to have Ann on today. Ann had to cancel, sadly, but Ann did go to the Xfinity race. So we were going to hopefully hear a bunch of bad experience, but such is life. So it's okay. But me and Hitmaster both went to the Cup race on Sunday. We'll get to the race itself in a little bit, but first let's touch on our experience at the track. We rolled in about 9 a.m. and it was cloudy, a little warm, but it was pretty nice. I wanted to see Brad Keselowski. He was at the NASCAR Fan Experience tent, and he was 15 minutes late, and then he came out for only 5 minutes. Huh? Okay. Whatever. The only other driver appearance that I saw was Joey Logano, and I was very, very excited to see Joey Logano because of what happened last week at Richmond. However, only one person asked a question about the incident at Richmond, and it was about, are you going to give Austin Dillon his penalty? Spoiler alert, nothing happened. But anyway, he kind of just glossed over it too. He didn't really talk about it that much, but he did kind of talk about it a little bit. But I don't know, nothing too crazy from that. Otherwise, just kind of walked around. The Ford booth was really cool. They had all the championship trophies there. They had Cole Custer's car and Ryan Blaney's car as well, so that was cool to see. The Chevy booth had William Byron's car. That was pretty cool. There were a few other cars later around. The Kroger booth had a Stenhouse car out for display. The NASCAR Experience booth was really cool. They had Richard Petty's Daytona 500 winning car from 1979 there, which was really cool to see. The Roush collection wasn't there. They usually are, but they weren't this time. That was a little surprising. And a couple other booths. One of them had like a custom car made up. Like they were handing out these like raffle tickets, and then you went to their booth and you put in the raffle ticket number into a computer, and then you were supposed to just be able to spin and see if you won race tickets to a race at like one of the 5 predetermined tracks in Daytona, Bristol, Talladega, and a couple others I can't remember. were there. So like we went up to do it, and like we put in the number, and then it asked for everything but our social security information. So we're just like, nah, we're not gonna do this, and didn't see if we could win or not. Damn. There was also a booth that had 2 trucks, like like Craftsman Truck Series trucks, set up, which felt ironic to me because the Truck Series doesn't race at Michigan anymore. So, okay, weird. But I digress. I think those were all the cars on display, except for the Kids Zone car, I guess, too.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't a Toyota booth. There's never been a Toyota booth at Michigan, which is really weird. Really, really weird.
A lot of people don't like Toyotas.
They had a few other cool things set up, though. A few other cool booths to look at. They had some other trophies at the NASCAR Experience booth. They had the other, like the Cup Truck Xfinity trophies and stuff. They also had like ARCA, the modified series, and another one I can't remember. Up for display too. That was cool to look at. They had this cool like lighted sign up on the front stretch part. It's like "Welcome to Michigan," and had this cool like lighted sign and whatnot. By the Heritage area, but not the Heritage, the like Hall, little like Memories area down later on the front stretch. There was a cool Richard Petty commemorative hat. That was cool to look at and see, and I got a picture there as well. But other than that, I mean, there wasn't a too terrible amount of much of stuff to do. There were other driver appearances. I just didn't go to them. Like William Byron did an appearance. Kyle Busch did an appearance. But I didn't go see any of those because I went over to the tents. And I was very excited to go to the tents because I was excited to see what they had. I was maybe going to buy a diecast or I was going to buy something else crazy. A lot of sheet metal. A lot of sheet metal was over there. I didn't see any sheet metal at Bristol or last year at Michigan, but there was a ton of sheet metal this year. Didn't buy any. Spoiler alert. And the diecast selection was good. However, it was either too highly priced. A couple price points I want to talk about in particular. There was a one diecast was $187. There was another diecast, a Dale Earnhardt one, for $300. It wasn't signed. It was just a regular diecast for $300. Please tell me nobody bought that. Like, how are you going to spend $300 on a diecast?
Bet you somebody bought.
But there were some good diecasts there. They're just too high priced, or they just weren't what I wanted. Like I saw a Joe Nemechek Burger King car from the 90s, I think it was. That was like $10, but the box was in terrible shape, and I don't know. I just didn't go after it. There's some good kept prices for Kevin Harvick cars. I had a few of them, like $20 for a diecast, but I didn't bite on any of those either. It was Kevin Harvick's Gravedigger car was $187, and I would have bought it had it not been $187. So there you go. There's some cool diecasts, just like I said, too high priced. There was a Sterling Marlin Coors Light car that I wanted to get, but I didn't see a price tag for. And there was another one that they had their price for $60. So I'm just like, 60 is a little too much for me. So I didn't get any diecasts at the race this year, which is kind of surprising. I usually get at least one, but this year I didn't get any. But I did get something else. Oh, first, Ann bought me this, by the way. It's a Dale Jr. Baja Blast magnet. So after this episode's done, I'm gonna go put this on the fridge. That's pretty cool. Show that off. Ann got that for me. I didn't get that, but what I did buy was this. Ta-da!
I knew it! Okay, there's a story about that. I have that one somewhere. I don't know where, but I remember, I think it was the first episode I showed that off. Let me tell you something. When I was younger, I accidentally fell asleep with that next to me. My dad took a picture and said this to my stepmom. Might want to go into the bedroom. Garry had a little bit too much to drink. And to that day, seeing that, brings that to my mind.
So here's a size comparison. It's taller than my head, which is, I assume this is about 2 feet tall. I want to say maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. There is no beer in this thing, sadly. No Budweiser. It's from 2000. It's from Dale Jr.'s rookie season. But it's in really good shape. It has the cool decals on it. It's glass too. So that's the main reason why I bought it. The top also doesn't come off. Wait, yes it does. Wait. I didn't think this would happen. It comes off. I'm gonna smell it. Doesn't smell like anything. Oh, probably not a good idea to put my mouth on that. I didn't know that thing opened, but I do now. Okay. It just kind of pops off and on like that. I like that. But otherwise, I mean, it's in a great shape. It's only $20 too. I've seen things like this at antique stores that are plastic for $80. So I thought this was a good deal. And I didn't have anything else that I was really intrigued to buy, so I decided to go with this. And I'm glad I did. It's going to go on our little bar over here. I'm going to find a spot for that after the episode is done, I think. Or I'll put it in my room. I don't know. Haven't really decided. Those are the only two things I got. Well, I did get the pin as well. I have Hitmaster show off the pin because he also got the pin, but that's all I got from the tents. I don't know if you went over to the tents.
I did not. Of course, I went with my friend. Again, my friend, this is his first time ever going to a NASCAR race and a Michigan race. And let me tell you, it was a good day some of the time for him because, when I can remember we were pulling up on that street and I said, now, when you look, you're going to see a stands, all right? And when you see those stands, you're going to be at a track called one of the fastest non-restricted plate tracks.
The fastest, actually.
In NASCAR, though?
Yeah, it is. It still is.
Oh. But anyways, when we got in, I said, so let's go to let's first go to the experience thing. And it was funny because we went in and we saw Zane Smith get off the golf cart and start walking to the NASCAR experience. And this kid ran up to him, put out a marker with a number 38 truck. And Zane Smith immediately signed it and then kept walking. That's probably the only thing he signed in his life. Only the 38 truck.
I don't know about that.
38 truck. Because I'm betting you right now, no one has ever heard of Zane Smith. Only in the truck series have they heard of Zane Smith.
Oh, yeah, I mean, but like, I can't think that's the only time he's ever had that sign, going to every race. But it was probably the only time he signed anything that day. And I'm sure that kid loved it. Like, that's a really cool thing. Like, Joey Logano did that too. Like, when he was coming up to do his talk at the Ford booth, there was people lined up wanting to sign autographs. He signed autographs for everybody that was in line there. That was really cool. So I respect people for doing that. Everybody just wants your autograph. It's a cool fan experience and whatnot. You gotta love it. So
right. And I challenged my friend to an iRacing race. I won, of course, because I actually finished a lap. He couldn't even finish a lap because he kept spinning out. By the way, if anyone wants to try to do iRacing at Michigan, 40.8 seconds. 40.8, yes, is the time that I had. And let me tell you, the first lap, I just did it like Dale Jr. does whenever he turns his wheel, where he has it like this. And then he puts one right here and just turns. And then I wanted to do the Dale Jr. thing where his knees are like up near his chest and just like driving it that way. But then my knees would hurt and then I would be in pain the next day. So I didn't do that. But
Probably
we went there.
Idea.
We went there. My friend took a picture with the 43. His mom's favorite was Richard Petty. So that was a blast for her. And then I walked around by myself because they went to go get something to eat. I walked around by myself, and when I walked by the Chevy booth, Kyle Busch was there. You want to know who else was there? Braxton Busch. Braxton was there. And people asked, I stood there for a couple minutes and watched. I'm telling you, there was probably only 2 questions for Kyle Busch and like 5 questions for Braxton.
Well, I'm not surprised.
No one cared about Kyle Busch. Everyone cared about Braxton. Braxton, do you put notes in your dad's car before every race? He says no. Do you want to be like your dad when you grow up? I already am. Like, they're stupid questions that they're asking, and he's answering them.
Well, of course he's going to answer them. What is he going to say? You don't deserve an answer because your question is too stupid.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. But anyways, we went in after that, and it's funny because I was walking around. I was going to get Little Caesar's Pizza when I walked in, but...
Yeah, don't do that.
No cash. We don't take cash. We only take card because we're stupid idiots, and we're fucking idiots that doesn't like cash because of COVID.
I'm sorry to say, Gary, a lot of places are cashless nowadays. Simply, it's just more simple that way for transaction purposes and like handling stuff and whatnot. You'll see that at a lot of sporting events.
Like when I got my PIN, I had to ask my friend, and I paid him back, by the way. Let me just say that. I asked my friend if he could for me, which was only $10. I had a 20. And then when I went to the Chase Elliott booth, I could use my cash on that. What the fuck?
Yeah, I could have told you that before you left. I mean, yeah, that's what you're going to have to do. I wish they had some sort of service to exchange cash for a prepaid card like they do at amusement parks and stuff like that, who are also cashless. But I doubt that unless NASCAR it's a whole mandates that, I don't think it's going to happen. So
now with the pin I got, and Tyler got,
yeah,
and my friend got, because again, this is his first race. Let me remind you, this was last year's pin. All right, nothing too special. It has the date, it has what the winner would get. The usual. This year's is almost the same thing, but just you can spin this.
They really changed up the design because it was even the same. It was even the same in 2021. Last time I went, like 2021, 2023 were about the same. This though is completely different. It's like a roulette wheel. You can spin it. I like it though. It's a cool design.
But that was added to my other hats that I have right here that has all the racing ones I have. I even now have the Daytona 500 one from 2007, which was one of the closest Daytona 500 finishes between Kevin Harvick and not Joe Nemechek, Mark Martin. But I got that, and then again I went to the Chase Elliott booth, and saw what I've been looking for a long time. And I sent it to Tyler, and Tyler's like, yes, finally. We do picks. Now we can add Chase Elliott to the picture. In he goes. Into the jar he goes.
What? Don't word it like that.
I regret saying that now.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, when we got in, my friend, we went all the way up to the top so that he could see the entire track to himself.
Yeah. My dad got a poker chip as well. He got an MIS themed poker chip because he uses them for golf. That was all he bought. I want to say the haulers, I didn't really look at the haulers too much. They were all really long lines and, nothing crazy. I did see Daniel Suarez, though, at the track house when he was signing autographs. That was pretty cool. But I didn't really stop at them that much. I mean, I went to the other booth down closer to turn 1 for my pin and the poker chip and whatnot. So, not really too impressed with the trailers or anything, but really haven't been for a while. So, what's new? But then, when we went into the track, I think about 12:30, and it had been dry pretty much the entire day, by the way, except we were waiting for Brad Keselowski, and there was a slight sprinkle, but it ended pretty quickly. Other than that, completely dry. We get into the track, we ate some food, hung out, and then went up to our seats. And did what you do. I met up with my good Hitmaster himself. We met up together, said hi, hung out for a little bit, and then we went to our seats, and everything was doing fine, they're doing great. And then they were getting ready to start the race. They were doing the pace laps. They were on the 1 to go signal. And then the rain came. I will say, though, during driver intros, I was expecting Austin Dillon to get booed a lot more than he did. Denny Hamlin got booed a lot, but that's to be expected. Other than that...
Wallace got booed.
Well, also to be expected. But I will say, though, I know it's an election. I know it's an election year, but the amount of Trump gear and the amount of fuck Joe Biden shit was just too much. It seemed like every other person was wearing some Trump gear. There were so many booths at the tents area that had just Trump gear or just had a bunch of Trump stuff. And it's just like, come on, dude, come on. This is a NASCAR race, not a Trump rally. Just please, god damn it.
It's funny because when I was walking by with my friend to look around to see if I could actually use my cash to eat something because I was starving in hunger. A golf cart drove by, of course, with 2 drivers and an owner. Motherfucker, there was, of course, driving it was Tyler Reddick. The person sitting next to him, Michael Jordan.
Damn.
And behind in the back seat, Bubba Wallace, who was pissed. He did not look like he wanted to be here.
I'm sure he didn't. Didn't.
I turned around when I saw them go by, and I turned around, and all I see is Bubba looking at me with the dirtiest of looks. And I'm like, my dream has came true. He hates people. So, Bubba Wallace, I know you're probably not watching this podcast, but if you're watching this, I saw you make a dirty look. I wanted that to happen.
It was my dream. It was my only passion in life. Anyway. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, the driver intros were cool. I mean, they didn't do the pace things around with the trucks that they usually do, which was weird. Then they got started with they tried to get started with the race, and then the rains came on the 1 to go signal. Yay! Rain delay, rain delay, rain delay. It was a 2.5 hour long rain delay. Around 5 o'clock, though, things finally got going. We actually got to see some racing, which had looked pretty promising leading up to the race, and then once the rains came, did not look promising at all. But then we got racing going. So, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. For 50 laps, at least. It wasn't... Come on now. Do you think they were getting a full race in? Well, Gary's gone. Okay, well, I don't know where he went. I don't know what happened. I'll just keep talking, I guess. Anyway, but they got 50 laps in. The only thing notable during those 50 laps, was Denny Hamlin spun. About 8 to go in the first stage. He went around from second, spun into the grass right in front of where we were sitting, and that was pretty cool. The crowd was cheering really loudly when he spun out, so that was cool. Oh, Gary got kicked out. He's trying to get back in. Ooh. We'll see if he comes back. Anyway, anything else not super notable? We had Ryan Blaney in fantasy this week. He won the first stage. He would end up finishing second in the second stage too, and we got 12 stage points. Helped because he was in the top 10 on the last lap and then got put in the wall by Chase Elliott. Thanks a lot, Chase. And finished 18th when he was set up for a top 10, which kind of sucks, but oh well. And then the rains came before they started stage 2, and they tried to get it going again, but they eventually just postponed it to a Monday start, and I was able to go back down for the Monday portion of the race, getting that thing restarted. They restarted about 11 a.m., had no problems getting to the end after that. And the racing really picked up on the Monday portion of the race. Near the end of the second stage, well, closer to midway through the second stage, they were just going through green flag pit stops, and there was a really weird sequence of tire failures. There were 3 right rear tire failures, all in the span of just not even 10 seconds. It was Todd Gilliland, Joey Logano, and then AJ Allmendinger spun out because of his tire failure, and that brought out a caution. It was a really bizarre sequence, especially because they had just made green flag pit stops. So it was very, very bizarre. And then on the ensuing restart, we had the big one. That's right, baby, we had a big one. Woo! Oh, woo! We got a big one. Kyle Larson was taken out in it. Christopher Bell was taken out. Todd Gilliland, Joey Logano were also taken out, which is funny. They had a double whammy on their part there. Really, I don't think anybody else crazy was taken out in the crash, but it was right in front of us again, as well as they came off turn 4, so that was really cool. Then that was the end of the stage, and then we got to the third stage, and partway into the third stage, we got our last crazy incident of the race. And, I wasn't at the track. I wasn't at the track to see Kyle Sieg's flip 2 days prior, but I was at the track to see Corey LaJoie blow over. Well, not really blow over, but flip over. I never thought in my life I would see a flip, let alone it be at Michigan. Now, this was the first flip at a non-restrictor plate racetrack since 2010. Now, the Xfinity race had restrictor plates, so that doesn't count, technically. But now we have one that does. That was all the way back to Brad Keselowski's flip at Atlanta in 2010 before you get the last non-restrictor plate flip. That is insane. But we got one here in Michigan. I never thought we'd see a flip, let alone two in the same weekend. And it was a bizarre flip. Like, we couldn't even really see what had happened. He just kind of got air underneath him and then just whoop, flipped over. It was really bizarre. But it was just really bizarre. And I wonder if NASCAR is going to look at that, because it's mostly with the biggest part with LaJoie's flip, in my opinion, is the biggest part with LaJoie's flip, in my opinion, I think, is the bottoms of the cars and how they work out. So I think that's the biggest reason why he flipped. But I don't know. I don't know why he would flip. I don't know. It was a very bizarre flip. Then we got into a long green flag run after that. And when we did, what happened after that? Not really nothing. But then we got a controversial caution with 7 to go. So really in the race, things were on like lap 60 or something like that. 70. Austin Cindric had slid and hit the wall in turn 3. But no caution was called for that. They did, however, throw a caution when the same thing happened with 7 laps to go with Martin Truex. Now NASCAR, I don't care if you throw a caution for either of those incidents, but you got to be consistent. That's your biggest issue, NASCAR, is you cannot be consistent. I don't know, you're consistently inconsistent. It's crazy, man. But anyways, that set up an overtime restart. Because, Truex barely hitting the wall causes a 6-lap long caution period at Michigan, apparently. So we got overtime. Attempt 1 was a failure. Ross Chastain spun out on the backstretch, causing the caution. And then we got a second attempt at a green, white, checkered, and that one was successful. Tyler Reddick was able to swiftly pull away. He definitely had the best car at the end of the race and was able to pull away and score his first ever Michigan win, at least in Cup. William Byron, now Brad Keselowski I think had the best car, but he decided to restart behind William Byron twice, even though William Byron was low on gas and actually sputtered on the last restart, causing Keselowski to not be able to get anywhere near for the win. But it's all on him at that point. Like, he's low on gas. Why are you restarting behind him? I don't understand that notion of it at all. So, but who am I to speculate? So, it was the first time I ever got to see Tyler Reddick win. That was cool. It's another driver added to my list of drivers I've seen win now. So that's pretty awesome. And it was a good race. I mean, it was a good race. I cannot lie that two really good races this weekend, in my opinion. Both were really fun, had some crazy action, some good finishes. So I really can't complain. But I do want to go on a little bit of tangent about the rain, though. So some stats for you guys here. So this was my 13th Michigan race that I've been to. 13th. In my lifetime. And this was the sixth Michigan race that has been a sixth of those 13 that has been affected by rain. 2008, 2012, 2019, 2021, 2023, and 2024. So that right there, folks, is 6, and also the last 4 consecutive times I've been to Michigan, all have been affected by rain. It's really hard now to think of a time when there wasn't, and I didn't go to a rain-affected Michigan race now, since it was the last 4 times that I've been there. It's been affected by rain. It was the 3rd time that's been postponed to a Monday in the last 4 times that I've been there. Which is, here's the thing about rain delays, right? If you've never been to a race that's been rain delayed or even postponed, it can be exhausting. It's exhausting for everybody. It's exhausting for the drivers. It's exhausting for the crew members, teams. It's exhausting for the broadcast people. It's exhausting for the track staff. It's exhausting, but it's also very exhausting on the fans. Sitting around in just waiting through the rain. We're cuddled together under the grandstands. Water's dripping through. There's barely anywhere to sit. And it's just pouring rain, and we're just waiting for an update, and we have to wait hours and hours and hours and hours waiting to see if we're going to see the race we paid $80 to go see, and if we're going to see any of it. And then it just causes a really, really long day. And then you got to get up in the morning and go back if you even can. Not everybody could. The grandstands definitely looked a lot more empty on Monday than they did Sunday. Though I was surprised, a lot of people did come back. I was surprised. It was a really good crowd on Sunday. And I didn't know how it was going to be on Monday. Monday it was definitely more sparse, but surprisingly a good amount of people came back, which is good, and also surprising. But it really, really wears on people. And my worry is, and this happens at other tracks. Pocono is a big rain track over the years. Even Talladega, Daytona are big. Well, more so Daytona. Talladega, kind of, not really. Daytona, yes. Daytona has been affected by rain a lot. But with my thing with Michigan specifically is, it's happened a lot in Michigan. It has. It used to almost always rain at the June race. And then they took away the June race. And then it's been always raining at the August race. Now there's rumors that the August race might be gone. They might be going back to June for one race. We'll see if that's the case or not. But with my fear is, Michigan is never the most exciting race of the year. This was one of the most exciting Michigan races I've ever seen. But compared to other races this season, I'm sure there's going to be more races down the stretch that are going to be more crazy than this one's been. And NASCAR is dealing with rain delays every year, rain postponements, rain everything. They're either probably going to force the track's hand to either install lights, or they might just take Michigan off the schedule. And that's something that, you don't, I don't care to see. Like, I don't think that's actually going to happen, but I have to feel the speculation that they might say, oh, we're going to go to this track that's not affected by rain every year and puts on a better racing product, and just say fuck you to this track. It's probably, and I'm not going to say that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But again, last 4 Michigan races now have been affected by rain. The last 4 have all been affected by rain. 2021, there was a late rain caution. Set up a pretty chaotic finish. 2022, there was a 2.5 hour rain delay. 2023, delayed, ran 70 laps, postponed, and finished on a Monday. 2024, same thing, ran 50 laps, postponed to a Monday, finished after a rain delay. It's ridiculous. And I think NASCAR thinks it's ridiculous too. Now, do I think they're going to leave Michigan like that? No. But I definitely think this is the time that they need to really look at the track and say, if Mother Nature is going to keep dumping water on us and does not want NASCAR here, then we got to make some changes to one-upper by putting lights on the track. That's a huge undertaking, but it might be what they need to do. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I really don't. I mean, it's getting ridiculous at this point, like I said. You can even go back, I think it's 6 out of the last 8 Michigan races that have been not COVID races have been affected by rain. You go June 2019, also June 2018. It's again ridiculous at this point, and it's Michigan. I think Mother Nature just doesn't want NASCAR in Michigan anymore. Sorry to say it. She's gonna keep dumping rain on the track all the time, only on race weekend. That's what it's gonna be, I guess. I don't know. That's my little rant. That's my little tangent about the race. But overall, I mean, it was good. It was fun. I had a good time, and I always love going down to Michigan. I don't want to see anything happen to it, but gotta make some changes, because I'm sure 2025, I guarantee you there's going to be some rain in the forecast. It always is at Michigan. You gotta be prepared for that. So, well, that was Michigan's experience. That was a long time just talking about Michigan. Also, it was the last race for Rick Allen. Lee Diffie's moving into the booth now. So we salute you, Rick Allen. Had a good run this season. So there we go. So, but anyways, we'll get into some news. I'm going to kind of quickly just go through it here because we're already 45 minutes in the episode just talking about NASCAR, just talking about the race. Michigan. So the penalty for Austin Dillon was his win just became ineligible. He's ineligible for the playoffs now. It won't count. He gets to keep the win, but he won't get to use it for the playoffs. And his spotter got suspended for 3 races, and he was also docked 25 points. So I think that's a pretty good penalty. And it's been talked about already, but it's a pretty good penalty, I think. You don't really get the full extent of the win. It's never going to satisfy everybody, but I think NASCAR finally said, yep, we're going to put the foot down, and this is what it's going to be. So I'm very, very glad that they did that. And then also Joey Logano was fined $50,000 for his pit road misconduct at Richmond when he revved his engine right in front of Austin Dillon's family as they are trying to enter the track because he was mad at their crew. So, yeah, that was that. Now, RCR did say that they were going to attempt to appeal the penalty for Dillon. However, that has not been, at the time of recording this, has not been announced if that's going to happen. But if there is a big news deal about it, we'll look at it. Oh my God, he's back! He's back! Woo!
I'm sorry, everyone. I apologize. Are we still recording? We're still recording?
We're still recording. I'm done talking about the race.
Shit. I'm sorry about that. I had technical difficulties, but we got it fixed.
We can
again.
You can give your
last.
You can give your last remarks about Michigan now. Go.
Michigan needs to go to rain tires.
Oh shoot, that was the other thing I was going to say about the track. If they're going to test, I think if they're going to test rain tires at any track larger than a mile, it has to be Michigan because I think that's what they'll get their best results from.
And this is what I think they should do. When they were racing, there was a little bit of a sprinkle here and there, and then there was a little bit of a downpour. If it's downpouring, where they will not be safe driving even with rain tires at that racetrack, then yes. Bring them to the pits and, do that. But if there's a tiny little sprinkle here and there, put the wet tires out. The track's going to get dry anyways.
Yeah.
And yes, test it at Michigan. People say that it's 200 miles and this and that and this and that. Or not 200 miles. 200 miles per hour, and they don't want to wreck. That's not what I'm saying. If it's sprinkling and it's going to go away in about 5 to 10 minutes, rain tires. Simple. Yeah. Not that hard.
I don't know. I think they're definitely going to try and look into that as well. Because, like I said, there's nothing. Too many rain delays. Too many rain.
There is one more thing. I don't know if you talked about it while I was gone. But in the news, I think it was either Friday or Saturday, found out that Kurt Busch had Yeah. A DUI.
Yeah, that is Kurt Busch. Dude. Come on. We thought you were cool, man. Why'd you do this again? Come on. You're too old to get involved with the law like this. Come on.
He was also going over the speed limit.
I don't think he needs more of a reason be pulled over. I think just driving drunk is enough of a reason to be pulled over and arrested. I think.
Imagine you are the cop that pulls you over. Hey, sir, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a retired NASCAR driver, and you're just like, no wonder you don't want to live it. You wanted your heydays.
Anyway, a couple other things for news. AJ Allmendinger is coming back to full-time Cup competition in 2025. That was announced. That was a big piece of it. Also, Mark Martin, out of all people, got featured in Gucci Mane's new album. I didn't listen to it yet, but...
Did he have his walker with him?
No. Oh my god.
Driving around the track like Mark Martin.
Oh god, dude, that blew me away when I saw that, dude. Mark Martin was in Gucci Mane's new album. Like, what the fuck is that combination?
Did you hear they were talking about on the free race show at Michigan? They were talking to Ross Chastain, and they go, "What do you think about the guy that has your name in it?" He was like, "Oh, I didn't even know that I was in it. I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear the music." Meanwhile, he's standing there in his orange peach, just stuff. Even though peaches aren't orange, they're pink. For God's sake. Also, by the way, that jockey paint scheme that Chastain had at Richmond and Daniel Suarez had at Michigan.
True.
I want to get a tiny version of those cars because those are fucking hilarious.
True.
See who's stronger.
A couple other things for news. Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer are both going to be the Xfinity drivers for the new Haas factory team in 2025, using the 00 and 41. So rest in peace the 98, because that is gone. Also, Riley Herbst is out of a ride now, which is kind of surprising. Ryan Preece is also now confirmed out of a ride. He is not getting that either. Also, so there's also now a spot at Junior Motorsports opened up, and a spot at Gibbs in the Xfinity cars opened up, so that might switch around some stuff. But for now, that's what it is. So they've gotten that all sorted. Pretty surprising that they brought over Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer, but hey, they're good drivers. I think that should work out just fine for them. So. And then the last piece of news was that the Clash is going to the one, the only, Bowman Gray Stadium next year. What? First off, this is a huge move. It's a great move. LA would have sucked again. So to move it to a place where more people are going to enjoy it, going to come out, we're going to love it. It's going to be great. This is going to be an absolute barn burner of a race. I am calling it right now. It's going to be freezing. It's February 2nd is the official date for the race. We're in North Carolina, so it's not super cold, but it's not going to be super warm either. So that'll be an interesting way to figure it out. But
if you guys don't know what Bowman Gray is, it's a racetrack and a football field in one. So take Bristol Motor Speedway when they did the football thing and just think of that, but tinier.
This is a quarter-mile track, I think. It's a high school football field in the inside and a racetrack on the outside. It used to host cup races way back in the day. Its last NASCAR event was what was then called the K&N Series 2012, and that was a great race. But Now, here we go for a cup race again. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. So, but that was all the news that I had. Before we get to, so we are going to do previews a little bit different this week because the order of the races goes Xfinity, Cup, Truck this week. Because Xfinity and Cup are at Daytona, and Milwaukee for the trucks. And the trucks are racing on a Sunday because NASCAR Cup races on a Saturday. There's only 2 Saturday races nowadays, and it's Daytona and Bristol. We haven't gotten to Bristol yet. We got to Daytona, though. So we're going to do Daytona first. Go in order. And then when we get to trucks, we're going to go through a full preview of the truck playoffs as well. So get to that in a second. But first, Xfinity Series at Daytona. I also do want to point out, I checked the weather forecast for Daytona this weekend. It says rain all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. So we'll see how they work around that.
Hey, Daytona, now you'll know how we feel.
So,
you now know how we feel.
Who do we think, if they get it in, who will take the checkered flag in the Xfinity race?
He looked fast at Michigan. I think he's going to look fast at Daytona.
I'm going to go Ryan Sieg. Because I really want him to finally win a race. And he also looked pretty good at Michigan before he got into some issues in the second stage.
Are you sure you don't want Kyle Sieg?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about Kyle Sieg.
But he's spun out.
I don't care.
Someone make this an email. There.
All right, anyway. So now we're on to the Cup race. Let's get those chips out. Let's introduce that new chip and break it in well. Now Daytona. Daytona is going to be a crapshoot. It always is. Big wrecks, unpredictable winners. It is not the cutoff race for the playoffs this year, though. So drivers will have another chance. It's a very tight playoff grid going in. Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, and Chris Buescher all underneath the blanket. And all 3 drivers had a pretty shitty day at Michigan. Bubba Wallace got caught up in the big one. Could never really recover. Chastain spun on the first overtime restart. Could not really do anything after that. And Chris Buescher was also caught up in the big one, but did rally for a top 10. So I guess it's not too bad. So we'll just have to see how it goes. It's always a toss-up with Daytona, though. So let's see. Here we go.
And the first pick is going to go to Tyler. And it is going to be Kyle Larson. Which is not a bad pick, knowing that, anyone could possibly win this race. Probably Wood Brothers.
Maybe not everybody.
Fine, I want Wood Brothers to win their 100th. And my pick is going to be his last Daytona race. Oh, sorry, not his last. But Martin Truex Jr. So, which means we both have a good chance of possibly winning, mostly Tyler, but...
Hey, that's not bad, though. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Alright, so... Okay, I got it pulled up. So, before we make our picks for the Milwaukee truck race, the Milwaukee truck race, by the way, was pretty good last year. It's hard on tires, but should provide some pretty good racing to start off their playoff run. But we're going to go through all 10 drivers right now, and here we go. So, coming in 10th, the only truck driver to make it on points to the playoffs, starting just 2 points below the cut line, is Daniel Dye in the 43. In 9th, the other driver below the cut line to start the playoffs off is Ben Rhodes, just 1 point below the cut line. Taylor Gray is 1 point above the cut line in 8th. Tied at 6th is Tyler Ankrum in the 18 and Grant Enfinger in the 9. Good season going for Grant Enfinger after leaving the 23 after their team shut down. Raja Karuth is in 5th, 7 points above the cut line. Oh, by the way, Enfinger and Ankrum are both 5 points above the cut line. Raja Karuth, 7 points above the cut line. Nicholas Sanchez in the 2 is 16 points above the cut line and 4th. In 3rd is Ty Majeski, who is 21 points above the cut line. The highest placing Chevy is Christian Eckes, 36 points above the cut line in the 19. And coming in at the top, no surprise there, with 39 points above the cut line is Corey Heim in the 11. So that is your truck playoff grid entering the first race. Top 2 will get eliminated going into after the first round. Playoffs kick off this weekend at Milwaukee. Who do we think will win?
So real quick, how many drivers get eliminated after the race?
Only 2.
Is it 2?
It's only 2 in the truck.
Only 2? Okay. And then it goes to 4? Or no, it goes to...
I don't know exactly how the format goes. It just says 2. The cut line is the top 8 for the first round. So.
Okay. All right. I think it's going to be Christian Eckes.
I'm going to pick Corey Heim just because I think he's going to come in with good momentum. And he's kind of been under the radar the last couple of weeks for the truck series. So I'm interested to see how he's going to try and rebound. So. Wow. That was a long episode. Over an hour. Good work. That's it. I'm still going to save my thoughts on the Days of Thunder movie, and I'm going to save my thoughts on NASCAR Rivals for the next episode when we recap Daytona and Milwaukee and get ready for Darlington. So that should be a lot of fun as we enter the end of August. I'm sad. Anyway, that's going to do it, though, for this episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. If you want to be a guest on the Talkin' NASCAR podcast, all you got to do is join the Pringles and Company Discord. The link is in the description down below. Request the Talkin' NASCAR role from me or Hitmaster, and we will figure out a time to get you on and talk some NASCAR, and maybe, just maybe, drink some beer. So...
I dare you one of these days to put Budweiser into that.
I hate Budweiser. Otherwise, I would. Anyway, that's going to do it, though, for this episode. Stay tuned for much more amazing content between both me and Hitmaster. And until next time, we will see you guys later. Goodbye.